ain't gonna front. I'm gonna cut to it. Isiah Thomas has got to be the most underappreciated superstar ever. And I watched Kendrick Perkins sit up there and talk about the five greatest point guards, and they talk about when Steph won the gold medal, Magic Johnson's birthday, and he had Steph one, Magic two, Oscar Robertson three. That was a surprise that he even goes to acknowledge that. Um, he had Russell Westbrook four and John Stockton. I got a big problem with that list. Isiah Thomas is better than Russell Westbrook and John Stockton put together. He accomplished more. He won championships. He was a Finals MVP. Was multiple Eastern Conference Finals and three straight Finals. How does a man who was a factor on a winning team that led a team? Where did Isiah Thomas ever play with anybody like Karl Malone? Now, I'm not saying Stockton ain't one of the 5 or 6 greatest point guards, but where did Isiah Thomas have a sidekick like that? As great as Dennis Rodman was, he got more notoriety with Chicago. But Joe Dumars is in the really good, the very good category. But Isiah Thomas is great. Actually, Isiah Thomas's career kind of mirrors Steph Curry's if you want to get technical about it. Because if you look at Steph Curry and Allen Iverson, you could say that Isiah Thomas, Zeke, birthed both of those guys, and Steve Nash, who looked up to him. Steve Nash has given it up to Isiah Thomas. When you think about the backcourt dynamics, without the dominant center and multitudes of forwards and everything, that was a precursor to the triangle offense with Tex Winter, Phil Jackson, that was successful with Jordan and Pippen. I don't care what Jordan says. And Jordan said that after Magic, he said Isiah was the next best point guard. He owes in depth to that man's style, because that style enabled the Bulls to win, where you didn't have to have a dominant center. You could win and use different devices, and you were actually playing awful positioning. And then you fast forward to Steph and Clay, and tell me that the Splash Brothers don't know Isiah and Joe Dumars some of that. But Isiah Thomas in particular, because he was the ringleader, he was the handler. People forget about his skill set and what he could do. Now tell me something with a straight face, besides from the fact that Kevin Durant has scored more points. Tell me that you really respect Kevin Durant more than Isiah Thomas. Got 2 rings. Tell me. Tell me that you respect Kyrie Irving, who's got 1 ring and been a few finals appearances, that you respect him more than Isiah Thomas. Tell me that you think Kawhi Leonard is better than Isiah Thomas, who's got 2 rings. See, where I'm going with this is that you got guys who have accomplished things, but they weren't the leading force and they weren't the driving force as Isiah Thomas was. Isiah Thomas is not getting his due. He's being disrespected. He belonged in the conversation with Steph, Magic, Oscar Robinson. He belonged in that 4. That's that 4 Mount Rushmore of the greatest point guards ever to me. And I'm going to defend Isiah Thomas. One of the things, ironically, because he wasn't on the Dream Team, and they've used that against him. And somehow this whole thing about being an Olympian and winning that gold medal somehow oversets winning the world championship. Somehow it oversets winning the finals MVP. I guess they'll try to tell you that Carmelo Anthony's 3 gold medals is better than Isiah Thomas's 2 chips, or Kevin Durant's 4 gold medals. You know, it's just incredibly comical and sad. But Isiah Thomas deserves to be mentioned with those guys. He deserves, because you can make the case he was just as important when he was running things in the East as Magic was in the West. And he had a harder road to go through too, because those Celtics was no joke. Imagine if you Isiah Thomas, you got to worry about the Celtics to get through, and then you got the upstart Bulls behind with Jordan and Bird in between you, and you were the sandwich in between. And he never gets his due. He's got to be the most disrespected NBA superstar ever, as far as I'm concerned, because the man won. And no disrespect to the Rockets in the 90s that won. Olajuwon was great, one of the greatest players ever and everything else. But the Rocket team in the 90s got an asterisk because Jordan wasn't playing. Some Chicago Bull fans are going to come out and feel that way. And they got a case because Jordan went to go play baseball. You know, we know what that was. Yeah, okay. There was no baseball when Isiah Thomas was beating Michael Jordan's behind and keeping him from going to the finals. There was no asterisk there. It's just that he wasn't marketable. Isaiah was scary and too black, and they was like the Raiders. They was like doing NWA style. They was hitting hard. They had their own style and culture. And he didn't cross over to Middle America, even with a grin. You sitting on TV after you in the finals singing "Heaven Must Be Like This" by the higher players. That ain't what they wanted you to be doing, but he did it anyway. Oh, I watch. The fix was on for Jordan anyway because the cardboard in Home Alone won. Macaulay Culkin. That's before the Bulls even got to the finals. They was pushing product placement. There was never no respect for a guy that won. So before people come at you and say, "Oh, winning is everything," it cures, no, it don't. Because if that was the case, Isiah Thomas would be as applauded as some of the guys that you hear, and he don't. He don't. And it's not just because of how his perceived. Who is a nice guy that was such a winner? Was Michael Jordan a nice guy? Was Barkley a nice guy? Was Shaq a nice guy? Was Kobe nice? Was Larry Bird nice? Was Magic nice? Where's all this niceness coming from and all this and all that? Isiah Thomas was just as those guys was. He paid a price. And they given the undersized men at 6 feet and what have you, they've given that to Iverson because they call it street cred. But what was Isiah Thomas but from the streets of Chicago? And what was he doing leading the team and creating, because you remember the highest scoring game ever? What did Phoenix do with Steve Nash and blew all that up? So Isiah was doing that already. That's why Nash gave him his love. And when you see elements of Curry taking over, Isiah did that on one leg. Remember that. I remember the 88 finals, one leg. No one talks about it because he's not fashionable. So all these people like Kendrick and people dissing Isiah Thomas, Zeke is one of the Mount Rushmore's of point guards. And I would debate that with anybody. And he deserves more respect as one of the greatest players and winners ever. You got issue with his personality, what he doesn't say and all that, but we talking on the court. We talking about what he did and how hard he fought. And he was a leader and a captain of a team. And I will tell anybody to their face, that was the dude that Michael Jordan was trying to be like more than Magic or Bird. He's trying to be like Isiah. Because Zeke led by example. It's unfortunate this whole gold medal narrative mess because that's why people don't give him his due. And that medal is overrated and overstated. Because all these turkeys now, I'm going to do a video about that next. This gold medal mess needs to stop. It ain't that deep. But Isiah didn't need it. It wouldn't have done anything if he had gotten one anyway. But the real ones, no. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like. And please hit that membership because when you do, the videos you request, I'll get them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay cool, stay clear, stay healthy. I'm back. Peace.